All right, ladies, welcome to this episode of the She is Extraordinary podcast. I am here with a new friend. Her name is Haley Luckadoo. And goodness, she is a firehouse. I mean, she is a powerhouse. You're going to love her. Okay. She's a marketing coach, a motivational speaker. She's the founder of a digital marketing company with her husband called Luckadoo Media Co., which I love. And she's the creator and host of a popular podcast called Females on Fire. Welcome, Haley.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, this is so good, isn't it? So, we had chatted briefly about, what are we going to spend time, sharing with the audience today? And you mentioned one of your your speaking topics, which you have gotten some great feedback on. So I am so excited to share this today in the episode. It's about the power of yet. So can you just kind of frame this up for us?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love talking about this topic. And we'll get into all the goodness of it. But basically, I love sharing about this because it's a mindset shift, right? And I think we all need a lot of those. It's really easy to kind of get beaten down by life, if you will, and feel like we're just tripping over our own feet sometimes and hitting all of those setbacks and roadblocks and just feeling like we're failing, right? It's so easy to look left, look right, look at what everybody else is doing and feeling like we're not actually living up to what we're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And so this is just a little tiny mindset shift that I think makes the biggest difference in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's really utilizing the word yet. And this word is going to help you lean into those setbacks and those roadblocks and stop looking at yourself as a failure and actually leverage those things to get you where you want to go. And I know it has worked for me and my life and my business. And so I've seen it work for so many other people as well.
Oh, I'm so excited because let me just confess here. I'm an impatient person. Anybody else? I'm a control freak, recovering perfectionist, and I'm an impatient person. And so I can just tell this is going to be so good. I'm also one to say failure. Well, heck, that's just a stepping stone to success. Yes. You just got to keep going. So this is so good. The ladies right now, go grab your notebooks, grab your pens, or open up a Google Doc and take notes. Okay. So I understand YET is an acronym. So you want to start with what each of those are and then we dive in?
Yes. And I'm going to preface this by saying it feels backwards when I say it, right? Because we're talking about, okay, how do I embrace the word yet? How do I really start utilizing the word yet? How is that going to get me where I want to go? And we're always thinking about where we want to go, right? We're not thinking about where we are right now. And so when I say this, you're going to be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But we'll get into it, I promise. Yet stands for you embrace today. You embrace today. If you're really going to harness the power of this word, if you're really going to leverage your setbacks, your failures, your roadblocks to actually get to the goal, to get to the end of the road, to get to where you want to go, you have to embrace where you are right now. You can't leverage anything you've got going on right now if you're not willing to look it in the face. So you embrace today. That's what YET stands for.
Wow, that is so good. That is so good because okay, I'm gonna ask maybe a silly question and get ahead of you, but
there are no silly questions.
But thank you for that. So it's like yet, I am not a millionaire yet. I have not impacted 500 lives yet. So there's that element of it, but you're saying let's focus on today. I love it. Okay, right? So that there's both things going
absolutely.
On. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's really where the power in it lies, right? Absolutely. Tack it on to the end of every sentence, right? I'm not there yet. I'm not good enough yet. I don't know enough of what I need to know yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not there yet. Whatever it is, throw on the word yet. It changes the entire definition of the sentence, right? But how could you change the entire definition of your life if you stop worrying about the end of the road and start looking at where you are right now, right? It's that definition that I want to get into and talk about. It's that definition that I think changes your mindset, changes your perspective to actually get you to the goal, right? Because if we're looking at the goal, we're constantly going to keep tripping over everything in our way because we're not looking down. We're not looking at what's right in front of us. And so if you can take these little setbacks, these little roadblocks that keep tripping you up, and you can actually pick them up and carry them with you, and you're really embracing where you're at right now, you're going to get where you want to go so much faster. That yet, it's going to come so much sooner.
Wow. I love that. And as you're talking, I'm kind of wrapping my mind about how that looks on the practical day to day. So for example, let's talk about some of my clients. Now, my clients are 6-figure or near 6-figure female founders, CEOs, and they're looking to do more, have a bigger impact and a bigger influence and more income. So, as I work with them, all of it, let's simplify what you're doing. You don't have to do all these things. Let's get really strategic and focused, but still there's days that are great and days that are not so great. So can you walk us through like a real life example?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in terms of like the small ways that this shows up, let's think about our to-do list, right? Let's face it, we're all founders and CEOs and trying to rule the world, right? Take it all on. And I don't know about you guys, but I am big on a to-do list. And every time I make my to-do list, I constantly think that I can get more done in a day than what I can actually get done. Does that resonate at all?
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. We're busy, right? We're busy women, we're busy humans. Like that's just who we are. And we naturally want to jump to the next project. Yes.
Yeah.
But how often do we make that to-do list first thing in the morning, right? We're jotting down everything we're going to get done. We're so ambitious about how much time we have in the day. By the end of the day, how many of those things did you not cross off? There's probably a few, right? And how often are we beating ourselves up at the end of the day for not getting them done, right? There it is right there. There's your real life everyday example of a quick mindset shift. Okay. It's fine that you didn't get it all done, right? It's fine to be that ambitious in the morning and then in the afternoon go, okay, well, I didn't quite make it. But what we're doing most of the time is beating ourselves up over not getting it all done. Now we're carrying that into the next day, right? We're going into the next day going, oh, I'm so behind. I didn't get everything done yesterday. So now I'm already starting behind today. And we're counting ourselves out already. We got behind on Monday. So now on Tuesday, we're like, I got to get caught up. And now I got to do everything I was supposed to do on Tuesday. And so what happens? We don't get it all done. So here comes Wednesday. Oh, here we are again. I'm already behind. I can't get caught up. And by the end of the week, we feel like we're so behind that we feel like an absolute failure. And most of us are running multiple businesses, or we're also moms, or we have friends we want to hang out with. We have a personal life. We're trying to, deal with self-care and take care of ourselves and be healthy and work out and all of these things. And it's not just the business 24/7, right? And so then we feel guilty dealing with those other things. The husbands, the friends, the cousins, the family that's in town, the dog, the kids, the workout, the self-care, the dinners. We feel guilty because we didn't get the things done that we needed to get done in our business. And so how often are we setting ourselves up for failure the day after because of things that we didn't get done the day before? Mm-hmm. And what I'm here to tell you is that that's not a failure. That's a real life example of I just don't have enough time yet, right? I'm embracing today. We're not there yet. We're not there yet where I have a whole team who can do all of this for me and I can outsource it all and focus on a few key tasks. We're not there yet, right? And that's okay. So that's just kind of one really small example of what I'm also seeing my clients deal with every single day. And it just goes to show you that we're very busy, but we don't have to let that busyness, that ambition of how much we can get done in a day, spoil the entire week and make us feel like the failure that we're not.
There you go. I love that. The failure that you are not.
Yes.
Right. Because let's unpack that just a little bit more. This idea of ambition and these long lists, or for my clients, I'm like, time block it, a specific task in a specific, time frame. And if you don't get it done, then you move it. You can move it to later in the day, add something else there, or move it over to later in the week. But I love this because I really want to land on this and just let it sink in for the ladies, because those two phrases that you use, Haley, I'm so behind and I got to get caught up. I hear my clients say this all the time. Inside my academy, we have the video trainings, right? And they're always saying, I'm so behind. I'm so behind. And I stop them every time. You're not behind. You have your own timetable. You're getting things accomplished. It just may not be as you originally thought it would be. It's just not in that time frame that you originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And I think that's the crazy thing about it, right? Is how often are we making plans? We're making time frames. We have all of these goals, and not to say that you can't hit a goal in the time that you originally set. You absolutely can. It happens all the time. But I know in my own life, and especially in my own business, most of the really incredible things did not happen in my timing. They happened in the time that they were supposed to. And had they happened in the time that I originally planned, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been able to take it on the way that I did. And so I really believe that when you hit those little bumps in the road, where you start to say, oh, I'm so behind. Oh, I've got to get caught up. Oh, I should have hit that goal already. I should be there already. And most of the time, let's face it, we're looking left and right. We're comparing ourselves to other people. That's what's making us think we're behind. Otherwise, where would the line be? We don't know if we're behind if we're not looking at everybody else. So we're constantly looking around going, oh, well, she started at the same time I did, and she's already way up there. She has been in business just as long, and she's already made all this money. She's doing this, she's doing that. I'm so behind. And we get so caught up in that thought. The question you should be asking is, am I ready? Am I ready yet? Right? Why can't I embrace this learning? Why can't I embrace today? You embrace today. Remember, why can't I embrace where I am right now in an effort to learn everything I need to learn, become the person that I need to be, so that when this goal gets in my face, I am ready. I am fully capable of taking it on and excelling at it. Because the truth is, while we're too busy looking left and right, we're just tripping over more and more stones in the way, right? We're hitting more roadblocks. Why? Because we're not focused on what we're doing. We're focused on what they're doing. And the more you're focused on what they're doing, the more you're going to keep holding yourself back because you're getting in your own way.
I love that. And I want to emphasize something you said right there. The lack of focus is causing you to do two things that are not good. One is tripping. I love that. I love that analogy that you're so busy looking around, you're not looking at what's right in front of you. And so you're tripping up. Okay. I love that. And the second thing is missed opportunities. Missed opportunities when you're busy looking around and comparing. You don't even see what's right in front, that you don't see that great potential collab opportunity. You don't see your ideal client that just walked right in front of you. Or, another point that you made, which I love, is the readiness. God's timing is perfect. And so we may want to do X. We may want to maybe launch a podcast, but maybe we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I didn't start business back in 2003 and launch a podcast, maybe because they didn't exist then, but in any event, right. You have to take things as they come. And I like to say, I'm going to analogize this to motherhood.
Yep.
I'm 55 and I'm here visiting my sister, and her daughter has 3 little girls that are like all under 5. And I just tell my niece, oh my goodness, enjoy every day, savor every moment, even the dirty diaper, and that you feel like you're just wake up and it's like Groundhog Day. I'm going to change diapers. I'm going to make meals, white faces, savor that, because before you know it, it's over and you wish you could go back. So ladies, wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey, please enjoy today. This is such great insight, Haley. Now, one of the things you said earlier offline, what I want to bring up now is you said part of creating that life that you really want means finding joy in the life you currently have. And I just want to emphasize the word joy. I'm all about joyful scaling. So joy is something that I'm really, really hot on. And it's finding, happiness, for lack of a better word, true, sincere joy, for me, joy in the Lord, regardless of the circumstance, because you're good, right? I mean, this is all part of your journey. So I'd love you to speak to that, Haley.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm a big believer in starting every day with a gratitude practice, right? Like sitting down and just saying, okay, here's a few things I'm thankful for today. And not even big things, right? Not my husband, not our life, not, my family, not the big things that are there every day, thankfully. The little things, right? The sun came up today. It's not pouring down rain anymore. Or I booked a really big client yesterday. Or, I don't feel behind today. I'm starting the day so ahead because I knocked everything out yesterday. Or my new colorful pens that when I grab them, they just make the little things, right? What are the little things that you can be grateful for? And then at the end of the day, what are the big things that if they went away tomorrow, you would be devastated, right? How can you take a moment and just be thankful, grateful, proud, excited about those things? So every day, I sit in bed at the end of the day and I look over and my husband's asleep and my dog's curled up on our feet because he lays on the end of our bed. And I just think, wow, look how good this life is. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened today. It doesn't matter if I lost a client. It doesn't matter if I didn't get my to-do list done. It doesn't matter if it all fell apart and the wheels are coming off and we think it's all going to end, right? It doesn't matter because my husband's right there and my dog is right there and my family is one phone call away. And I know that I'm so grateful because some people don't get that, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't.
Yeah, and those little things are the ones that really matter.
Yes. Some people do not get the tomorrow that you're taking for granted today. Okay. That is so important for us to remember that anytime you feel like it's all falling apart, what if it was all falling into place? What if your setback is just your set up for success? What if the thing that you think is going to break you is going to be what makes you in the end, right? How can you be grateful for the things that are going right in the moments when it's all going wrong? If you can do that, if you can lean into that, that's when you know true, honest, pure joy. You don't know it until that moment, right? You don't know joy until you've tried to experience it in a moment when the wheels are coming off the bus and it is just all falling apart, right? How can you be grateful for the little things, for the big things, for the things that maybe earlier today you were taking for granted? How can you take a moment and look around and say, you know what? It's really not that bad. That's joy. And that's what you need to lean into in order to actually embrace where you are.
Man, I love it. One of the phrases you said, I'm sure you've done a graphic on this on Instagram. If not, you need to. Your setback. How do you know that is not your set up for success? Ladies, it is so true. We know how God uses everything for our good and for his glory. So, okay, maybe a client walked away. Maybe it was a good thing that client walked away.
Right.
Or maybe this opportunity, you were so hoping to get that article printed in Forbes and they rejected you yet again. Well, maybe that's not really the publication where your people are. And so God's going to make sure you get it, into the publication where they are. So this is so good. Mindset.
Can I share a quick story that I think is really cool, a cool analogy of this?
Absolutely.
I'll keep it short because it can get a little long, but my story, I never intended on getting into business. And it's wild when you hear all the crazy details of it. But long story short, I was dating a guy from high school. We were high school sweethearts. We had been together for 6 years. Okay. 6 years. And we were engaged. We were getting married the summer before our senior year of college. And I went through college like very multi-passionate. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to take on the world. How do you settle on 1 or 2 degrees when you want to just dive into everything and help everybody, right? But I had finally settled on criminal justice. I was going to be a lawyer, which is so wild and so different than what I'm doing now. But literally 1 month before my wedding, 2 months before my senior year of college, this guy that I was dating called it off and just sent a text, said I couldn't do it anymore, walked out, called off the wedding, left me with all the credit card debt for the wedding that we had racked up, everything. And in that same week, I got a letter from my school saying, hey, we know you were on full financial aid to come to school here, but we cut some of your financial aid. So if you can't come up with these thousands of dollars, don't come back. And so literally within a week's time span, I felt like my whole life fell apart. It was everything I thought made up the future for me. The soon to be husband, the soon to be degree that would turn into the soon to be job. It was all gone. And that was the most devastating moment of my life. And when I really felt like I had hit rock bottom. And now 7 years later, I'm looking back and I'm going, wow, I have an incredible business. I work with incredible clients. I speak on stages where I get to motivate women to look at those failures and leverage them and not look at them as a roadblock, but look at them as a setup for success. And my husband is the most incredible man in the world and my other half, truly. And none of that would have happened if I had gone off and got married and gotten a criminal justice degree. So it's stories like that. And I think we can all see ourselves in that story, right? We all have that moment where we looked around and we were like, this is rock bottom. It could not get worse than this. And whatever that moment is for you, how did it set you up? How did it serve you, right? Even the worst things in the world can teach us something, right? And so I really, truly believe that when you think you're at rock bottom, when you think that you couldn't get any lower, when you think that this is going to be the thing that breaks you and buries you, and this is where it all ends, trust me, that is the thing that is going to raise you up so high. It is going to get you so excited. It is going to shine a light for you that you would not have been able to do otherwise. You're going to be able to impact so many people, if with nothing else, with that story, right? With the story of how you climbed out of it, right?
The power of story. Oh my goodness. That is such an incredible story. And it highlights that, how do I say this? God's grace is so amazing that he doesn't give you what you want sometimes, but he gives you what you need and what is in fact better for you. And I'll give you a silly example. Your example is so like, yeah, you were rock bottom. Like you were like, hello, now what does the future even look like? You know, God bless you. In a minute, I want to ask you how you got out of that, just like mindset. But just a quick story for me. I wanted girls. I was raised by a mom who's like rah women and, feminism and all this stuff. And so the one thing I wanted was a daughter. I did go to law school. I was the first one in my family to go to college. Then I became a lawyer and I wanted to raise another strong girl. And what did God give me?
Boys.
Two boys, 3 boys. Yes, but they are the loves of my life. I've learned so much as their mama. And yeah, that's just, thank you for that story.
Now you get to go show them how to be strong boys who look for strong girls, right?
Yep,
who raise other women up, right? Because we need more men like that.
Yeah.
So how incredible is that for you and for your story?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we'll get to know each other as we work together, Haley, because in your digital agency, I'm so excited to work with you there. But listen, I mean, if somebody would have told me that I would like embrace having boys, I would have said, no way. I don't even know what to do with them. I don't know what to say to them, but you're right. They are so respectful of women and they're going to be, I think their wives are going to look to me and say, thanks, Mom.
Yep.
Thank you, Mom.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. I can't believe this time is running. I want to talk just for a moment about how did you pull yourself out from that down moment when, I mean, literally the rug was pulled out from under you, not once, but twice. How do you even rally back from that?
I love and hate this question every time I get it, because if I'm being totally honest, I don't know that I did anything super special, right? I think we often want to focus on like, well, how did you get out of it? Well, I have incredible people around me, and I'm very, very fortunate, very, very blessed to have that. I'm not going to pass over the part where I spent 3 weeks just living on my mother's couch. Okay. Like, I think too often we breeze right by that. And we're like, well, how did you get yourself out of it? Well, let's talk about while I was in it, right? Let's talk about what that looked like, because we're so quick to breeze over that part. And I think it's so important to say that if you have a rock bottom moment, if you feel like the rug's been pulled out from under you and you just don't know where to go, you're allowed a moment, right? You're allowed the time to do what you got to do, cry your eyes out, sit on your mom's couch, and be sad, like do what you got to do to take care of you, right? And then worry about the getting back up, right? I think that's a really important part of it.
Yes,
so for me, there was 3 weeks living on my mother's couch. And I say living, you guys, I didn't move. Like I barely ate. I barely slept. I just cried to the point where my mom was calling her best friend going, I don't know what to do. I've lost my daughter. She's gone. I don't know what to do for her. And to some people that seems really dramatic. To some people, they're like 3 weeks. That was it. So we're all different, right? We're all very different. But I remember going back to my apartment after about 3 weeks, and I remember looking around and there's wedding stuff everywhere, right? If you've ever planned a wedding, you know, there's wedding stuff everywhere. And I remember going, what do I do now? And the only thing I could hear in my head was my mother. Growing up, she said this to us all the time. You're not okay now. You're not okay yet. But in the end, you will be okay. Mm-hmm. And she used to say that all the time. You will be okay. You're not okay yet, but you will be okay. And I think that's where this yet thing comes from for me, right? I grew up hearing that. And in that moment, all I could hear was my mom saying, you're not okay yet, but you will be okay. And I was like, so how do I get okay? We're not aiming for good. We're not aiming for great here. How do I get okay? All right, I got to pay the bills. I got no job. I got no prospects. I got no degree. What do I do? What am I going to do? Because I can't just go wait tables. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just couldn't do it, right? Not anymore. And I said, well, the only skill I have, you're going to die laughing when you hear this. The only skill I have is that I just planned my own wedding. And I got a lot of friends getting married. So what did I do? I started planning weddings.
Oh, wow. That's so
fun. I did it for 5 years. 5 years. I had a really incredible wedding planning company. It was very successful. And it's what led me into marketing. It's what led me into all the things that I do now. Marketing led me into the podcast, led me into speaking. Literally would not be here today doing what I'm doing without that journey. And so I think for me, it was constantly just leaning on my support system, which I was so grateful to have. And maybe you don't have parents who are like that. Maybe you don't have a husband who, by the way, walked into the picture shortly after that. And I'm so grateful for that. He was an incredible support system for me in the beginning. Maybe you don't have all of that, but maybe you have the best friend. Maybe you have a daughter or a son. Maybe you've got a dog, right? Maybe you got a dog that you can tell all your problems to at the end of the day, and they're just going to lick your face and love you, right? Maybe you've got somebody, or maybe you've got a journal practice that just makes you feel better. Whatever it is that can be your support system, lean into that and just keep telling yourself, I'm not okay yet, but I will be okay. For me, that is what got me through. And that's what I kept repeating to myself day in and day out until it just became true, right? Eventually, I was okay.
I love that.
Better and better and better.
Yes, absolutely. And the taking action. I was of the ones that I thought 3 weeks, that's it. That's all. I was in that extreme. But yeah, you need time to mourn over things that happen. But I will say this, in entrepreneurship, when you have a setback, I say 2 minutes. Because if you wallow in what's not happening too much, then that's what you focus on. That's where you're going. We've got to keep our eyes on where we got to keep our eyes, as you said, on today.
Yes.
Savor today. Know where we're going.
And I think it's very important to note that you can be sad about something and you can be in the process of grieving something or letting go of something while also moving forward. They can work simultaneously, right? It's not I either sit down and give up and give myself time to wallow, or I get up and move on like nothing happened. You can simultaneously be doing both. I spent 3 weeks on the ground, on the couch, doing nothing except wallowing in everything. And then I spent the next several months simultaneously doing both. I was doing wedding planning. I was growing a business. I was trying to become successful and make something of my life, while also getting over everything that had happened and seeing how this thing was now going to work for me. You can do both. It's not an either or.
And I know we have to wrap up, but I do think there's one word that's coming to mind that also was working on your behalf, because I can see that you're a very positive person. And there's two ways to say it: belief or faith, or both, right? And to me, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. That is where my faith is. Somebody else may believe something else, but if you don't have faith that you are a success, like now you are enough, you're not where you're going to be yet, but you are great, perfectly imperfect, I like to say, right now. Ladies, we really have to get over this, oh, but I should be there when I'm only here. No, I love this. Let's celebrate. Let's draw that line in the sand today, ladies. And let's really think about this word yet and the acronym. You embrace today. That is so great, Haley. Well, as we wrap up, I want to talk about your podcast and where everyone can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So as you said earlier, it's called Females on Fire, and it is a business and personal development podcast. I believe you have to have both. If you're not working on yourself, how are you ever going to be a successful business owner, right? And if you're not a successful business owner, you can't have a successful business. So I really believe in both. So we talk a lot about business, marketing, sales, social media, all of those things, while also talking about the mindset and the motivation and the personal development stuff that sometimes isn't as easy to talk about, but I believe is equally important and sometimes equally fun. And you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's available everywhere, or you can head to femalesonfirepodcast.com.
Awesome. And you just celebrated your 3rd birthday, which is a big darn deal. Happy birthday for the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. It is my baby. I love it. I've been in business for 7 years now, but the podcast just turned 3. We had a big celebration. It's been so much fun, such an incredible ride. So many incredible women met because of it, and just been phenomenal. I don't know where I'd be without the podcast. I love it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. All right. Last question. This is called the She is Extraordinary podcast. So I always ask my guests to share with our listeners an extraordinary woman in your life and what makes her extraordinary.
Oh gosh, this is so hard. There's so many. How am I going to choose?
I know. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
So difficult. All right. I'm tempted to say my mom because she's the inspiration for the entire yet thing. And she's so resilient, but I'm going to share another woman in business who I absolutely adore. Her name is Candace Denise. She is my biz bestie. She's incredible. She talks a lot about self-care and wellness in the entrepreneurship space, and also is a brand authority coach and just a phenomenal woman. And I'm so dumbfounded by her sometimes, because even on the days where I forget this, right? On the days where I'm not embracing today at all, and I'm like, the wheels are coming off, we're done, it's over, I quit, let's call it a day. That's a wrap, people.
That doesn't happen for you. I don't believe it.
It happens for all of us. It happens for all of us. But I know I can send her a voice message on Instagram at any time, and it doesn't matter what she's doing. All of a sudden she's there in my ear going, Haley, come on. Yeah, you did this 3 months ago, right? Remember, we're all good. And I know it's going to be incredible. And she's constantly that voice in my ear reminding me of the dreams that maybe in the moment I forgot. And so it's just a cool relationship that she and I have, where we get to do that for each other. And I really believe, being in entrepreneurship, especially being women, where we're we tend to be a little more competitive with each other. We're constantly comparing ourselves to each other a little bit. I feel like you need that, right? You need another woman in the space with you, in the trenches with you. They know what you're going through, and you can sound off for each other, right? On those days that one of you forgets. And she and I are just constantly dreaming together of like, well, someday we're going to do this together and it's going to be awesome. So wow. Candace Denise, I love her. She's incredible. Everybody should go follow her. She's just phenomenal.
That is so sweet. I love it. Well, thank you again, Haley, for, you're really mature. I mean, you're obviously young. I'm old enough to be, or you're young enough to allow me to be your mom. Let's say that. Or at least your older aunt. But it has been such a joy chatting with you, and the ladies are going to ladies, if you implement what wisdom Haley just dropped, you truly can have a whole different perspective, and you can end 2021 on a high. Yes. You can end 2021 because every day going forward, you're going to wake up and you're going to say, okay, wait, I'm going to enjoy today. And I'm not going to say I'm behind. No, I am starting today fresh. And I'm so excited, right? So Haley, thank you so much for sharing your heart.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I hope everybody got a lot out of it, but I had a blast.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again. And ladies, thank you for listening. And if this is something that has really blessed your heart, would you please take a moment, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And if you'd leave me a rating and a review, that would so help, especially in the iTunes world, so that we can get even better than the top 1.5% globally. So thank you again for listening, and we will see you next time.